Hey guys, today's Saturday, February the 4th of 2023, and I wanted to do a cycle analysis on natural gas. If you see my energy sector video, I was very perplexed by this very strong spike down price action. So I wanted to see what the cycles, because I haven't had a chance to look at it. So my goal today was to kind of get an understanding and just kind of see what the cycles are on natural gas. So without any further delay, let's get into it. So I'm using data all the way from 2000 to current prices. And from what I'm noticing, there are three important cycles here. The strongest one in regards to strength is the 143. That one peaked out somewhere around February of last year. And now we hit a trough somewhere around, actually February of this year, around the 18th. The next one will be the 125. That one had a peak somewhere around May 29th of 2022. And we hit a trough on February the 23rd of this year. So there's two that are pretty much, there's a composite that are really, hitting the month of February. And then the last one is 233. Is not as strong in regards to strength, but it has a nice strong Bartel. And this one looks like it really hit the peak, or picked the peak, the cycle peak, which was July 11th. It looks like it was maybe August something 15. These are closes, so it's not really actual spike high. Oh, it's somewhere in that ballpark. And this one hits cycle low, a trough around April. So the months that you want to probably be kind of having on the radar will be February and April. And that's just on the weekly. There's a dominant cycle, which is 26, but it's very fractal, as you can see. I mean, it might be great for like scalping or swing trading. But you can see that this dominant cycle is up, but you can see how natural gas is just crashing. This is pretty much the same one right here. So it's finding, what's interesting is that it's kind of like inverse here. This one's going up and this one is going down. I'm assuming maybe this is the right one right here. But it'll be interesting to see what happens here. And then it goes up to February and it goes down here. But I'm going to keep an eye on natural gas just to see what happens on that. But February and April are pretty interesting months. Let's go to the daily and see what's cooking there. Okay, so this is the daily chart, and I'm using data from 2018 onward. And what's interesting here is that there's only one strong cycle here, which is the 242. You can see that this is it. We hit a peak somewhere around August. The high close is August 22nd. Pretty close. And now we hit a trough somewhere around January the 11th. So the cycle on the daily is up. And the dominant cycle, which is 76, right here, you can see that it's pretty much in sync with price action. Now it's up. So I wonder if this is a bear trap. Maybe next week or in the next 2 weeks, it snaps back up or kind of retraces higher. So if that's the case, if you wanted to do a swing trade or to that effect, it'll probably peak somewhere around March, somewhere around there in that ballpark. March, the first week, you just got to be cautious if you're going to play this as a reversal, short-term reversal. But we know that on the weekly, there's two cycles that bottom out in February and the other one bottoms out in April. So the cycles are still down. But it's one of those things you just kind of have to manage your risk. But this is what the daily cycle is saying. We got to look at the seasonality and see what the seasonality is saying there. Okay, looking at the seasonality, percent of months in which nat gas closed higher than it opened from 2019 to 2023. You can see that April is pretty strong. Interesting. And August, July and August, So those three within a 5-year span, it normally closes pretty high. It's interesting there. If you go to 10-year, you can see that April is still strong with August. It's 2 months that are pretty strong. I would think more in the winter would be strong, but this is what the data is showing. So we know that there's this weekly cycle, in February. So it looks like that makes sense within the 10-year. And if you go to the 5-year, February, March, kind of low. We know that the one of the other cycles bottoms out in April on the weekly. So, and there's 2 that is in February. So that kind of makes sense. There's a little cluster I'm seeing there. For a pop into April, we got to just look at the daily cycles, see if that matches up there. But April and August are very positive. 10-year, April and August still positive. Using a 15-year, April is still strong. So April is pretty the strongest out of all of them. And then 20-year, you can see that April, then October a little bit. Just for giggles, let me see if anything changes going 20 years back. October was stronger. March, October, March. From our current 20 years back, April has been a little more dominant for whatever reason that is. April and August. That's what the seasonality are showing. Let's look at the commitments of trader reports and see where commercial and speculators are positioned. So this is the commitments of traders report, and you can see that commercial, they're hovering around 138, and the high they put was 146. The low was 127, 120, 127. So we're in that range right now, and it's kind of just in the middle. It's just kind of like unloaded there. And speculators put a low of minus 177. And they kind of unloaded their E2 also. So what I want to see is if there's going to be a reversal soon, I want to see them take out 127 in regards to positions. So I'm looking at this more like candle positions. That's how I've been experimenting with this. Ranges. So we could take out that 127. That means that chances are large speculators are going to be buying and commercial are going to be selling. That's if it's going to go up. If it's going to continue going down, they're going to push and go higher and have a close above 146, 418. But that's as it stands. That's what it looks like. And the red line, these are, I'm assuming, like retail. This is not important. These are the big guys. These are the ones you want to watch. You can see that when it was going down, up and down, large commercial, they were buying it. Large speculators are selling it. And now we kind of hit a plateau here around January 16th. This was reported January the 23rd. So once the next report comes out, I want to see if commercial are pushing low. That might get down to 127 and then maybe may bounce again. Maybe for a bear trap or, a head fake. But if it does take out 127 and it's somewhere around February where the weekly cycles bottom out, it'll be interesting to see how that's going to play out, knowing that the daily cycles now are up. Maybe this, they're getting a head start in this move. Just my opinion. So this is the nat gas chart. I haven't really started putting my analysis on it, but I roughly put a rib retracement just to see where we're at. We already took out the 61.8 and hovering around 2 and change. There's the 218 coming over here, the 786, and actually the low 140. Interesting, 144. I was listening to a podcast on Alan Oliver somewhere. I can't remember, Spotify. And he mentioned about the 144. I have to see if I get him on the show or on the YouTube and interview him. He's very interesting. But, interesting that we made a low on 144. That's one of Gann's number. There's a little things, little tidbits you want to make notes of, even within price itself. Need to look into that. But yeah, you see, we just selling off here. Have the Hekanashi keeping you in the trend. Nothing's positive here. Volume has been very bearish. MACD very negative. Looking at the daily, Hekanashi just negative. Look at the volume. Although look, the MACD is just kind of stabilized here. Even though this is just going down, and just had a crossover, Friday. What's the news? Natural gas falls another 22 months low and abundant inventories. Warming long-term forecasts. So those are the little things I start looking into. So now in the back of my mind, I already know that, the weekly cycles to bottom out on February, thinking of February 1 and April, and the daily cycles are up. So even though the weeklies are down, there could be a potential for maybe a nice little retrace. However, we don't know the Elliott wave count. There's a lot of things you want to consider, before you even do a trade. So there's more research, there's more data points that we have to, gather together to see if it's even worth it, even if, the daily cycle's above. If there's a potential, building a cluster here that maybe there could be a nice little retrace to maybe, the 50% here. But, that all remains to be seen. But as of right now, this is the information I have. And I just wanted to share that because I was very intrigued as why, man, natural gas has been selling off. I was just thinking maybe they were squeezing Putin. It could be, may not be, but the cycles are confirming, squeezing Putin or not. The cycles are confirming that it was a turn coming. But if the cycles are going to turn positive February, April, there's going to be some gain for him also. It's just not going to continue going down forever. Well, hopefully you like this video. I'll keep you posted on my thoughts on natural gas. I have to build my profile on natural gas and kind of, study it, analyzing it, using Gann's technique and just kind of seeing where the edge is, see if there's any patterns and, build a thesis and then do a trading plan behind it and then take it from there. I'll see you guys soon. Have a great weekend.